Into law a ban on gender-affirming care for most minors.
4 suspects remain at large after a drug and gun bust in Refugio County.
And the Texas cheerleader who was shot in an LGB parking lot walks the graduation stage.
Starting off the weekend with warm and humid conditions, but rain comes back into the forecast at the end of the weekend. I'll have the details coming up in weather.
And did the Shiner Comanches win and make it to state for the 3rd straight year? We got the highlights in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker.
And I'm Karina Garcia. Early Friday morning, Refugio County Sheriff's deputies found a truck stolen out of Deer Park. After a short chase, 4 suspects fled the scene and currently remain at large. 2 of them have been identified. During a search of the truck, a substance believed to be methamphetamine along with marijuana and a pistol were both found.
In Wharton County Thursday night, sheriff's deputies executed a search warrant and arrested 57-year-old Jesse Jerome Efron at 715 Maddie Street in Wharton. Found inside the home were marijuana, cocaine, ecstasy, and several firearms. He is now in Wharton County Jail facing 3 felony drug and firearm possession charges. El Campo's new police chief, David Marcarelli, was sworn in on Thursday. The El Campo Leader News reports he's a 30-plus year law enforcement veteran who has spent a lifetime calling El Campo home. The chief was hired in May by the El Campo City Council. He replaces interim chief Terry Stanfill. And let's take a first look at your forecast with First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Scott Pitney. Now, Scott has been looking at already activity in the Gulf. Ooh. This has been a kind of a strange looking storm there, Scott.
Yeah, Don, we're into the 2nd day of hurricane season. We do have Tropical Storm Arlene, and we'll talk about Arlene coming up. For our weather right now, we're right where we should be as far as temperatures go. High today of 90, average high of 91, low 68, average low of 72 this time of year. And we are still ahead for our annual rainfall, almost 1.25 inches. We'll have the update on Arlene and plus the rest of our weekend forecast coming up in full weather. Don, Karina?
Scott, thank you. Uvalde police say they're looking for the person who called in a bomb threat at Robb Elementary School on Friday. Police said someone called the department's dispatch center Friday morning, identified himself, and then claimed to have placed bombs inside the building. The caller also said he was driving around with an assault rifle. Nearby residents were alerted and the area around the school was cleared. The San Antonio Police Department bomb squad searched the building but did not find any devices. A short time later, the all cleared was issued.
Governor Greg Abbott Friday signed into law a ban on gender-affirming care for most minors in the state, making Texas the largest state in the USA to place restrictions on transgender youth's access to critical care. Senate Bill 14 bars health care providers from providing gender transition surgeries, puberty blocking medication, or hormone therapies to those under 18 in Texas, with violators at risk of losing their licenses. It takes effect September 1st. Now, District 30 State Representative Jeannie Morrison was one of 23 House members who voted against the impeachment of Attorney General Ken Paxton. In a statement, Representative Morrison said, quote, "I do not condone the conduct alleged to have occurred, and I am not defending Attorney General Paxton. What I do support is due process and the protection of the institution of the Texas House of Representatives. Our standards for these matters should be high. The process made known to all representatives was unnecessarily rushed. For these reasons, I opposed adoption of the impeachment resolution," unquote. We spoke with Representative Morrison today, and she says many of her constituents stand by her decision to vote no.
After putting out my statement of why I voted no, that it was about the process and setting a very bad precedent for impeachment, which is a very serious issue, it has been overwhelmingly supportive. Of course, there are a few that think that I should have voted yes, but the majority of calls and emails that we've received in the office and personally has been supportive of the no vote.
Ken Paxton now suspended without pay, according to the Texas Tribune, losing $150,000 a year after the House voted to adopt the 20 articles of impeachment. No trial date set for Paxton, but it must start no later than August 28th. Former Texas Secretary of State John Scott was appointed by Governor Abbott as interim attorney general.
And this brings us to your viewer poll tonight. Scan that QR code on your screen to vote now. The question is, do you agree with Representative Morrison's no vote to impeach Ken Paxton, yes or no? We take a look at these results tonight, and 25% are saying yes, 75% say no. Thank you for voting tonight. Now, the Texas cheerleader who was shot after her friend opened the door to the wrong car is celebrating a big achievement. Peyton Washington walked across the stage with her classmates for high school graduation. The 18-year-old is recovering from being shot in her leg and back outside of a supermarket in Elgin, a town in the Austin area. She suffered severe injuries, including damage to her pancreas and diaphragm, and surgeons removed her ruptured spleen. Washington says she is putting it behind her, moving on, and plans to attend Baylor University in the fall. Now let's go to Mexico, where new details about a disturbing discovery and gruesome story.
Police found 45 bags containing human body parts outside of Guadalajara, a major city in western Mexico. It's likely connected to the disappearance of workers at a phone calling center.
The bodies were found in bags, discarded in a ravine. Grisly murders that have shocked even Mexicans weary of years of rampant violence, often connected to drug cartels. Investigators say at least 45 bags were found containing human remains outside Guadalajara, Mexico. Some of the bags had broken open.
All the bags that we found are closed and obviously taped, packed. We found some segments on the precipice, ravine, that we believe that when they were placed or thrown there, some bags must have torn, and that's how we found some segments. In a preliminary manner, we can say that there are female and male bodies, but we need to wait for the Institute to confirm.
Officials say the bodies appear to match the physical characteristics of some of the 7 missing employees of a call center in Guadalajara, but it's unclear how many victims there are. Missing since late May, their family members have demanded police investigate their disappearances. We want them alive and well, say family members, as they marched in the streets before the discovery of the bodies, calling on Mexican officials to do more. The families say their relatives went to work like any normal day, but then their phones went dark.
At 2:50 p.m., my messages and calls didn't go through. It was only voicemail and the phone was off. After that, there was no more communication with him.
Mexican officials say their investigation has uncovered alleged criminal activity at the call center, but they have not said if there are any suspects behind the killings.
The first indicators are it involves people carrying out some kind of real estate fraud and some kind of telephone extortions.
The sad reality is disappearances and brutal mass killings happen all too often in Mexico, where tens of thousands of people, according to human rights groups, are believed to have been murdered and buried in unmarked graves. Just in Jalisco State, where this latest massacre took place, 1,500 bodies have been found since 2019, according to prosecutors there. And throughout Mexico, more than 110,000 people are missing. And while this latest grisly massacre has generated more headlines and outrage than is usually the case, there are no guarantees family members will receive justice.
An Arlington nun at the center of a scandal found guilty of violating her vow of chastity with a priest from outside the Catholic Diocese of Fort Worth. The Reverend Mother Teresa Agnes Gerlach dismissed after the Vatican sided with Bishop of Fort Worth Michael Olson's investigation. Through her attorney, Gerlach has denied the public allegation she violated a vow of chastity. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, President Biden addresses the nation for the first time since the debt ceiling deal was passed.
Also ahead, JP Morgan Chase's CEO denies knowing about internal bank concerns over Jeffrey Epstein's criminal conduct.
25 News Now brings you Storm Prep 2023. Your First Warn Storm Team will take us through this year's hurricane predictions. Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez speaks with descendants of Indianola, a town that was wiped out from back-to-back hurricanes. Adarius McCormick explains just how simple evacuating really is. June 5th on KAVU TV at 6:30 p.m. Storm Prep 2023. Stream it live or on demand on Crossroads Today Plus. View it and our Crossroads Today YouTube page.
JP Morgan Chase's CEO, Jamie Dimon, denied knowing about internal bank concerns over Jeffrey Epstein's criminal conduct. An anonymous victim of Epstein is representing the suit, accusing the financial institution of enabling and benefiting from Epstein's sex trafficking crimes. That's according to a redacted deposition transcript obtained by CNN. After the parties agreed to release the transcripts, JP Morgan Chase has also sued Staley, who is known to be a friend to Epstein, alleging he is to blame for the bank's 15-year relationship with Epstein. President Biden ended the work week with a first, the first time he's made an address to the nation from the Oval Office.
The high-profile setting underscores the high-stakes legislation the president's ready to sign, which averts what would have been the first-ever U.S. debt default.
My fellow Americans,
months of warnings, days of dealing, nights of House and Senate votes, all led to a speech made less than 72 hours before the Treasury Department says it would have reached the debt ceiling. Friday night, President Biden shifted the story from what he says would have been catastrophe to what comes from cooperation instead.
both sides operated in good faith. Both sides kept their word.
Bipartisanship mentioned repeatedly, perhaps because it's so rare lately. It took Democrats and Republicans months to get enough votes to raise the debt ceiling for 2 years, while freezing non-defense spending and addressing topics critics said were unrelated, like the expedition of a natural gas pipeline and temporarily expanding work requirements for food stamps. Conservative Republicans and progressive Democrats shared their criticism of the bill.
No one got everything they wanted, but the American people got what they needed.
The Oval Office address came the same day the Labor Department announced a better-than-expected jobs reports. And the markets responded, the Dow soaring to its best one-day gain since November last year. The White House says the president is expected to sign the bill as soon as Saturday. That would be just 2 days before the Treasury says the government would run out of money to pay all its bills. Cutting it close, but able to deliver. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt reporting.
At least 50 people were killed and another 350 were injured when two trains collided today in India. The accident happened when a passenger train collided with the so-called train called the Coromandel Express. That's when they collided with a cargo train. One of the trains derailed and collided with the other, but it's unclear at this time which one derailed first. The National Disaster Response Force, state government teams, and the Air Force have all been mobilized to respond to the incident. Now, as the weather gets warmer, many will head outdoors.
But if you're one of the millions of Americans who live with asthma, this time of year can be hard on your lungs.
The sun is out and the heat's rising. Mix in some humidity and it's the perfect recipe for thunderstorms. And research has shown this summer weather phenomenon may wreak havoc on those who suffer from asthma.
The moisture and the electricity of the thunderstorm break these pollens and other particulates into smaller pieces that then, with the storm, come back down and can be blown for long distances.
The smaller the particles, the easier they are to breathe in. So if you're at risk of severe asthma, this time of year may be hard on your lungs, says Dr. Laurie Manka with National Jewish Health.
Anybody who is at risk of worsening of asthma related to this, can really notice worsening of their symptoms and have increased risk of needing to go to the emergency room and even hospitalization following a phenomenon like this.
And it's not just storms. Manka says there are many triggers that can make asthma worse during the summer, including mold from heat and humidity, pollen from trees and grasses, and smoke from things like wildfires, which can travel long distances. She says to be aware of worsening symptoms, and since everyone is different, know your triggers. Have a plan with your doctor on what to do if symptoms worsen, and pay attention to the weather around you.
Where can I find local pollen counts? Where can I find the local air quality? And then taking that information and kind of adjusting your schedule appropriately.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And for more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. Read about the free Summer Drummond Drum Set Camp at STEM Middle School this summer. And hey, come to our Facebook page. See a picture of me with two of the guests in our studio tonight, our grandsons.
I'll have an update on Tropical Storm Arlene, plus the rest of your weekend forecast is next.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Community Crossroads. We focus on abortion. We hear from a Planned Parenthood doctor, and we also learn about an alternative to abortion with the Gabriel Project of the Crossroads.
This is where moms can come any stage of their pregnancy. If they have a toddler or two, they may bring their toddlers with them as well to stay. And then they stay until the baby is born, and then they can stay up to a year.
Check 1 2 1 2.
And welcome back. A nice night in the Crossroads. Feels like temperature currently is 74. Clear visibility, dew point at 70, but it feels pretty nice outside. Overall humidity 87%, and there was wind staying light at 8 miles per hour. Temperatures mostly in the mid to upper 70s around the Crossroads. We do have a one lone 80 down at Rockport along the coast. We have this dry line that's been out in West Texas for almost 2 weeks now, just like clockwork, firing off thunderstorms every afternoon. Today was no exception. We have two major groups of storms still this evening, one headed toward Dallas-Fort Worth and another down around Del Rio. And these storms have produced tornadoes, large hail up to 3 inches. They're not going to make it here, but they're going to get close. They're about to move towards San Antonio, but they'll fizzle out before they get to the Crossroads. But we do expect our rain chances to increase for the weekend. And the reason is the high pressure that's been over our area has moved off to the east. And with that weakening of the ridge, that's going to allow some of this air to rise and start to spark off rain and storms. You can see on Future Tracker here, this is Sunday at 1 o'clock. We start to see more widely scattered showers and cloud cover in the afternoon. And as we get into the evening, that continues all the way up through central Texas. And that will also continue all the way into Monday. So those rain chances starting off around 20%, mostly in the afternoon, increasing to 30% for Sunday and Monday. Here's the latest on Arlene. The center actually right here still winds at 40 miles per hour. But notice the circulation, the circulation here, but the convection northeast. That's because the upper level winds are blowing all that off, and that is what's causing the storm to not be able to develop. Also notice there's an unusual track to the south, and before long, sometime tomorrow morning, Arlene will actually be a low and ending up in Cuba. So not really affecting the United States except for southern Florida. They could see some heavy rain still from Arlene continuing on through the weekend. Just a reminder, with Arlene being out there only the second day of hurricane season, we don't have many named storms here in July and June, but we start to see our peak in September, peaking September 10th. But any of these tropical storms, as we've seen in the past, can produce very heavy rain, so we still need to keep our eye on the Gulf. Of course, it only takes 80-degree water temperature for storms to form. As we see in the Gulf, those temperatures in the 80s all the way up to 82 degrees. And our temperature is actually 82 in Port O'Connor, 82 degrees. You see your high and low tide there for tomorrow. Those winds staying light out of the southeast, seas 2 to 3 feet, and those bay waters will be smooth. If you're headed down to the coast, and tomorrow will be a nice day to do so, as we'll have plenty of sunshine. Expect 70 degrees first thing in the morning, getting up to 87 by noon, 90 by 4, and then back down to 83 by the evening under mostly sunny skies. Further north at Cuero, 70 starting off in the morning, 87. A little warmer by noon, then 90 by 4 p.m. 8 p.m. expect 83 degrees. And for the rest of the weekend, there's that 30% chance of rain on Sunday. Notice the highs in the upper 80s. That's because of the clouds and the rain that's expected to be around for the beginning and middle part of the week. Rain chances staying around 20% through Thursday. And then those temperatures climbing to 92 under partly cloudy skies by Friday. You can download the Crossroads app today. Get the latest in news, weather, and sports at your fingertips. Plus, sign up for email alerts, and it's free. Here's Gino Perez.
Thanks, Scott. Local volleyball teams will be competing at a local college. We have the latest after the break. The score. At a crossroads, the Shiner Comanches tried to finish the series tonight against the Johnson City Eagles in Marion. Let's check out those highlights. Shiner pitcher Drew Winsky was on fire tonight. He pitched the entire game, and this would be his 11th strikeout of the game to retire the side and send it into extra innings. One of the biggest hits in the game came by the Athlete of the Week, Ryan Peterson, who almost walked it off with a home run, but the ball hit off the top of the wall, and he would have to settle for a stand-up double with 1 out. But the biggest hit in the game came with 2 strikes and 2 outs by Carson Schutte, who hit a blooper into right field. Peterson on his horse slides into home for the win. Shiner goes on to sweep the Eagles, winning by 1 run. The Comanches are heading back to the state tournament for the 3rd year in a row. Shiner will likely lean on pitchers Ryan Peterson and Drew Winsky in both games, the regional finals and the finals if they make it. Head coach Daniel Bedecker has gone with Peterson in both the past 2 state semifinal games. We'll see what he plans on doing moving forward. Shiner will play July 7th at either 4 or 7 o'clock. The Victoria Generals lose again in walk-off fashion after leading in what would be the final inning of play, and hope to get their first win of the season tonight against its rivals, the Brazos Valley Bombers. The Generals got off to a hot start tonight, scoring 2 runs in the top of the 1st inning, and the defense would come up big, not allowing any runs until the 3rd inning when the Bombers tied it up. The game would continue to be a defensive battle until an RBI from Christopher Munoz, who gave the Generals yet the lead again. The Bombers tied it up in the 7th, and the game would stay tied and go into extra innings yet again. Another exciting one for the Generals. We'll keep you updated on that game as it continues. The Summer Volleyball League starts next week and will feature many girl athletes competing on the court. A total of 14 teams and 132 athletes will be competing at Victoria College. Teams from Victoria East, West, St. Joseph, Cuero, and many more around the area will be in attendance. The girls will compete every Thursday in June and July. Each team will play 2 games every Thursday. The games start at 4:45 and can continue through 10 p.m. Each game will be for seeding, and then at the end of the month, there will be a single elimination tournament for a medal. All games will be streamed on the Southern Swing Volleyball Facebook page. And if you would like more information, you can contact Jody Jenkins at 361-210-6876. Well, attention all anglers. Tomorrow is June 3rd, and it is designated Free Fishing Day in Texas. Each year on the first Saturday of June, fishermen from all around the state can go to any public water body and fish without a fishing license. Some local bodies of water include Coleto Creek, Lake Texana, Saxett Lake, Patriot Park, the Guadalupe River, and Lavaca River, which are all very good options. Who knows? You just might see me out there. Well, that's your sports. Don and Karina, back to you.
Thanks, Gina. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Plus, the next big influencer to rock the internet could be Mars.
Hundreds of boaters skipped work and hit the water today. Organizers say Boaters Skip Day is one of the largest boating events in Northeast Florida. Each year, boaters converge on Bayard Point and Green Cove Springs. Planners expected around 900 boats. I think they're right. The event's social media manager says this is the 9th Boater Skip Day since they officially adopted the name. Boater Skip Day is coming off the back of National Safe Boating Week last week. Mars could be the internet's next big influencer, the Red Planet making its live streaming debut on YouTube. The European Space Agency says it will stream an hour of the first live images taken directly from Mars. While the agency is calling it live stream, it will not be truly live from Mars. The ESA estimates it will take about 17 minutes for the light needed to form the images to travel from Mars to Earth, then another minute to make it to servers on the ground. They hope to stream a new average about every 50 seconds. I want to do a little correction here. Shiner Baseball State semifinal in Round Rock is June 7th, meaning it will be next Wednesday. Go Comanches. Is this good weather tonight for stargazing?
It is great weather tonight for stargazing. Also good weather tomorrow for outdoor activities. Gino mentioned Free Fishing Day tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great day to go fishing. You see that 20% chance of rain, that's in the afternoon. And I don't know if you're like me, I like to be off the water fishing, do my fishing in the morning, be off the water by noon or so, and tomorrow will be the day. The rain chances increase for us for Sunday and Monday, and then 20% all through the rest of the week. Plenty of sunshine, temperatures near 90.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Scott. Now, a woman walking along a California beach last week stumbled upon a rare find. Take a look at this. Experts say this is the molar tooth of a Pacific mastodon. Am I pronouncing that right? Mastodon?
I think,
Is
You're
it?
asking Don
Yeah.
about Mastodon? Yes. Okay.
I'm asking Don about the
It's
mastodon.
a mastodon, yes.
Got it. Okay, cool. Well, this mastodon is an extinct elephant-like species. Scientists at the Santa Cruz Museum of Natural History say the foot-long fossil is thousands of years old. It's the only third discovery of a mastodon fossil in the area. Wow.
That's old.
That's an old mastodon.
A foot-long tooth.
A foot long, ooh, a foot long tooth, okay. Well, thank you for joining us for 25 News Now at 10. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today Plus.
And join our Adam Seibel for 25 News Now this weekend. Good night and have a great weekend, everybody.